Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Barnstable Human Services Committee. Twin Board, Town of Barnstable, remote. So this is being held on May 2nd, 2023, Human Services Committee on https townofbarnstable-us.zoom.us/j/833-900-43152 PWD equal 0C9HSKHBAL number 1 ERL 244RVZXALPL WFBK UT09. Under meeting ID 833-9004-3152, passcode 105751. On One Tap Mobile 833-928-4608. Also US toll free 833-928-4609. We don't have a speaker tonight. She was going to come to the last one, but she's now going to come to our next one. But I wanted us to have an opportunity to have some discussion. Did everybody receive the write-ups that were sent to them on our past speakers?
Yes, I did.
Okay, there's one more that I had to find because it was attached to another one with regard to the Council of Churches. And I have that up on my screen to go over it if we need to. And I'll be sending that to you tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest. Let me do a roll call. So we have committee member Carlos Barbosa.
Present.
Committee member Kimberly Crocker-Crowther. Kim, I know you're there. I can see you. You have to unmute. I can lip read. She's saying yes and waving. I, Cheryl Powell, Chair, I'm also here. We have our Town Council Liaison, Betty Lucky, Town Councilor Betty Lucky. Also, Committee Member Liz Roberto. Absent. Committee member Scott Fitzgerald did notify us he was unable to attend. Committee member and town state representative Steve Saros, absent. And committee member Megan Moore, absent. Cindy, have I left anyone out? I don't think I have.
No, Madam Chair, you have not.
Okay, thank you. So that's roll call. So what I wanted to do tonight, because we need to start putting this proposal. We are an advisory board. There are regulatory boards who make the decisions, and there are advisory committees, which was what we are. So it is our task, and Cynthia, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, that what we do is try to gather the information, make suggestions, and a proposal to present to the town council as a possibility to help to address some of the greater concerns within our community. That's why I sent everyone the write-ups, and that's why we've been having people that represent key areas that we noted under the umbrella things of mental health, housing, homelessness, and addictions. Oh, and crime. I keep leaving that one out. So we've now had those, and we're now filling in. The next speaker will be on legal matters with regard to those things and what we do. So I thought we could start putting it together. I have an idea where I think we should go with it, but trying to put everybody's concerns. Kim, you were talking about the mental health aspects, addictions, housing. We've all said housing. Betty, please participate in this. You're the town council liaison. I think if you feel that you'd like to, housing and other things. Carlos, you have talked about the food pantries, which is why I had the council of churches speak to us. I kind of see everything as overlapping. You can't have somebody come in with a wound, bandage it up, and figure that it's all done. You have to look at the cause, and you have to look at how to actually address it. You can't just hide it, and they're all overlapping. So, if there's infection, you have to take care of that, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, I'm taking it into our world, but so you have to kind of touch base or have some sort of connection with all the key areas under which there are numerous services within the community. So that's my feeling about it. I do have some ideas. Can I invite committee member Carlos Barbosa? Would you mind sharing your views?
Well, one of those views that I have is regard to the halfway house. We're losing the opportunity to meet with a new sheriff in town that she can put in a budget to open on a town property, actually, is coming available. They should have a halfway house. People coming out of jail right now have no place to go.
Yep.
No mental health, no insurance, nothing whatsoever. So we're missing this opportunity to talk to the new sheriff about it.
Okay, well, we won't be missing that anymore. So I'll take care of that.
Good.
I think if we had touched on community property before for a halfway house, and that was not overly well received. So perhaps approaching through the sheriff might have a different viewpoint.
Well, I'm sorry, but Les Sheriff has in a budget $15,000 allocate every year for a halfway house, which you have one in Hyannis, right across from the fire station.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that organization closed the door. They don't have that anymore. So, and then they cut off the budget for the past year and a half. So we need some money here to create this opportunity to open a halfway house. We need that badly right here. People going back to jail because no place to go.
Well, if you remember,
Yeah.
Kevin Rosario commented on that as well, that they take them through Gosnold for addictions and lack of housing, and they work hard on it and they stabilize them. But then when they discharge them, there's nowhere for them to go.
Right.
Somebody else tripped up. Who was that?
Well, I was just wondering, Chair, you said you brought this up before and it wasn't well received. What exactly did you bring up, and who did not receive it well?
I don't want to point fingers, but the thing is, it was brought up to try to get some sort of community property that's not being used to see if we can use it as a base. But I think at that time it had been misconstrued that it was more for as a food bank. Although that is part of it, but I think it's more on information about food banks. That will take care of through the database without any problem. And I'm going leaps and bounds on that. But
See, I'm sorry, but people who think that way, people have a very narrow mind. If we take care of people coming out of jail, we're gonna reduce crime. And let's have some conscience here. And they are human beings too,
I agree. No debate there. But it's not just people coming out of jail. It's people within all aspects of our community who need those services. But so Kim, did you have any input you wanted to put in?
No, I'm following along. I mean, I think you're right. It seems like a domino effect and everything is kind of circuitous. I also think what I've been hearing from a lot of my patients recently, and I think it has to do with the impending inflation, is that, as we talked about many times already, the food insecurity piece seems to be looming even larger. And that's concerning too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think there's a lot of stress, societal stress, but to our already vulnerable folks that we see in our demographic, I think, just having even more of a leaner economic profile is making things even worse for them. And it's resulting in more stress and more exacerbation of like mental health symptoms, as you know.
But you and I both know there's just different aspects. The vast majority of people want to try to get it changed. Others, it's just kind of, I don't want to.
That is true. Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
sort of help seeking, help resisting. Absolutely.
That's right. So what I'm envisioning a couple of things. I don't want to say anything until I hear back from somebody else who's putting the tendrils in for me, which will tie it all up nicely. and I haven't heard back on that yet, but I know that I will. The way I see it is, I know State Representative and Committee Member Stephen Saros had mentioned how also, as Carlos had said, a facility, but it doesn't look like that would be readily available. But what we have done is, which is why I targeted these key aspects, which are no less important than any other aspects of the community, of course, and people who provide services, is places like Gosnold and Duffy and Bay Cove and the Council of Churches. They all service a function, but it's more independent, with some overlap, with a great deal of overlap with regard to Duffy and Bay Cove, actually. But if with the database will help to connect the two, but if we can formulate some sort of a plan whereby you need this and you need that, therefore here's the contact here. And Kim, you and I do this very much anyway with our patients, you know,
Right.
you need this service, here's where you go. But the general community doesn't have that.
Correct.
But we can actually form a formalized coalition or a continuum, whatever, to this is, you know, and meet maybe once monthly on what are we finding to try to improve it, and what you know, what's necessary here, what's working and what isn't. Then we can work on building it through the information, because you know, people in their professions do very good in their professions. Michelle Aceto with relief does a great job with relief. You and I work with mental health. Carlos, where you work with NAMI, and also within the community, you know, that's essential. And State Representative Steve Saros up at State, you know, if we can coordinate it, it's time that we start putting this puzzle all together. We've got the pieces, and we need to start figuring out how they can fit together to make something solid for the town. So that's why I got you all the write-ups. You have one more to come on the food pantries. That you'll get tonight or tomorrow morning. And I
Yeah,
apologize for that.
may I tell you two
Absolutely.
things? Well, first of all, I left the board of director of Community Action. The reason I did that, because I have a different opinion regard to Community Action have a surplus. I never heard anything like that in my life. Community Action should have money to serve people. They shouldn't have surplus. So many people out there, I know citizens, like I mentioned before, senior citizens have an option to buy medication or food.
Yeah.
So Community Action should come in on that and help those people. They shouldn't have surplus. So
Go ahead.
that's what I don't get. I don't understand why it takes so long for people to act on a situation like that. I came for the private sector. If I don't act fast, my business goes down.
Mhm.
And those people depend on the money come from the state, and they don't act fast.
Mhm.
So what should we do? How can we improve? How can the town impose themselves to them and say, listen, I know you're a private organization, but you gotta act fast to help people. Otherwise, we're gonna cut your fund. I'm so frustrated with this because we've been talking for so long
I
and
agree.
nothing has been done.
Well, we had to get the groundwork done, and now we're in, let's get it done. We couldn't just, you know, flail in the wind and make guessworks. We need to make it something that we think can work and make sense. As for their having a surplus, part of me understands that. You want to have something on the side if something comes in of a higher emergency than what you're used to handling. Not much, but you need to have something.
What's more important to feed people? What's more important to have people buy medication? People dying out there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I disagree.
Well, medication, I think that's something that can be tackled. As for food, I think we found with were you there for the Council of Churches meeting? I think.
Yes, I was. Yes, I
You were,
was.
okay. Oh, that's right, you were. I think they have an excellent format. I think, I think they've got that pretty much covered. Remember, we only cover Barnstable right now. We cannot, we can worry about it, but we're tasked with Barnstable. And they seem to have that pretty well organized and growing. And they're to be commended for all that they've done.
Well,
The
no
various
question, no
churches.
question about that,
Yeah.
but it's not enough, it's not enough.
Well, that's why they're building, and that's why we're gonna all build it together. I mean, you have a starting point, right?
I'm sorry, I don't want to upset everybody here, so I just want to make a point that because I'm there every day. I'm talking to some people every day, and people are concerned about what the town can do for those kind of citizens out there. And I don't see it. The disconnect sorry, Betty, the disconnect of the town council, knowing those issues out there, it's huge.
You say you're there every day. Where is there?
Being in the Brazilian community, being in an African American community, being in a Latino community, I know some people who are in trouble right now. If it isn't for the private sector help those people, things can be done.
Okay.
I understand government take too long to do things, but has been too long now.
Mhm.
I've been part of this community for over a year now. I've been talking, and I understand you have put the things together, but come on, just do it faster. The town council can refer to the town council, and the town council can do something about it.
Well, the
I don't
thing
know
is,
if they will.
if we go to the town, we're tasked with putting together a proposal, a plan to put before them. And if we go to them and just say you're not doing enough, they're going to say, well, what kind of proposal do you have for us to solve this? That's what we're supposed to be trying to accomplish. And now we had to get the groundwork. I think we're pretty much there on the groundwork with a lot more to learn. But at least we have tackled the various areas enough to recognize the various problems, which we recognized before, but we needed to have not just, I know it, but to have the facts, which we've been given, and what the people who deal with those various areas are finding on the everyday, day to day.
Yeah, if I can comment, Carlos,
Sure.
I hear you. I've been on the council for 7 months. I've never seen anything come up for human services,
No,
nothing. And I agree with Cheryl's point. When you come before the town council, you should have something you can execute.
Yeah.
That means a coordinated solution that can be voted up and down, has some sort of financial tail attached to it. From what I understand, Mark Ells has some discretionary money. I'm not the most intelligent person. I have been sitting in on the financial advisory committee meetings, and we've heard from, the various department heads, if you will, the big ones, the police, the DPW, the airport, on and on, the schools, but I haven't seen it. So, I mean, I'm saying, I love your comments because I haven't seen it and I should be seeing it. I should have seen it in 7 months. What are we doing? I agree with the housing. As I say, I'm trying to push the municipality to act on this, stop just waiting for these developers to come in and decide what they want to do. Why don't we drive the train?
yeah,
It boggles my mind. So, I would love to help you guys formulate something with,
excellent.
that's actionable. I want things actionable. So like you said, get off the dime and get going on stuff. I'm
That's
right
right.
with you, Carlos.
And Betty, so you know, a couple months ago, I tried to set up a meeting with Steve Exaro, Kip Diggs, Paul Cusack, the president of town council, and we were talking about food pantry. And Steve Exaro have so much food coming from the state to this town. And the president of town council told me, don't do that. It's not your place to do that. You're part of this committee. The committee have to recommend something like that. So,
Good.
so as a citizen of this country, knowing people going hungry out there, try to propose something, try to bring some resolution for the problem, and they shut me down. So what else can I do?
I think,
So,
fairness, what they might have been doing, what the comment might have been on is if it's part of the committee, then try to propose it through the committee.
No,
but-
Cheryl, it wasn't that. He called me personal twice and he yelled at me on the phone because You cannot do that. You cannot bring the state to the town to talk about food pantry. So that's what he told me on the phone. So you know, I don't know. It's kind of frustrating to me because I'm about the action. I'm about the plans and action. It's not about you waiting, sitting down until people have some trouble out there.
But you
Yeah.
have to have constructive action. You have to know
I
what
do
you want to
understand
do.
that. I do understand that. That's why I'm here, try to tell you what my view is about, all about that.
And I
So-
value those views. Betty, I think you had something to say there and I very rudely, but not intentionally cut you off.
No, I was curious what Kip Diggs's response was to you, Carlos. I mean, it was you, Kip Diggs, and Matt Levesque. Was that the meeting?
Steve Exaro, Matt
Oh,
Levesque,
and
Kip Diggs, and Paul Cusack, we're gonna get
it was
together.
Paul Cusack.
When they proposed the meeting, Matt Levesque called me and shut me off, so no meeting.
Oh,
We're
you
not
never,
gonna-
you never had the
No,
meeting. You
no,
never,
we
it
didn't.
never happened.
No,
Okay, and Matt Levesque advised you to do what?
to do through this committee. We've been talking about this for so long, but the people are hungry right now. Oh, I mean, yesterday, not right now, yesterday. So I don't know how to
Okay.
proceed. Depends on the church to feed everybody. It's not enough.
Well, it's not just the church, it's the church plural. If you remember, he
Right.
said there's about 1,000 churches that are involved in this, a few synagogues, and countless people who are involved, and they are very well organized.
Yeah,
They give one of the women who Kathy, who's speaking to us, was saying how they offer on Monday, Wednesday, Friday a hot meal. They pack another meal at least for 2 more days. And sometimes they do it, they can come for whole families, take 6 meals. I think part of it is getting the word out there because there is availability, there is food. But part of it is getting that information out there. And that's one of the things that I have tasked that we need to accomplish, which is a database that lets people know where things are. And if we're coordinated with all the other groups that are dealing with mental health and that we can, Kim knows that we have a food bank list that we have, but we
Yes.
don't have who offers what. And if we have everything with contacts and dates and times, then we have, oh, you're struggling with food. Well, what area are you in? Well, there's this, and this group, and this one offers food for 2 meals a day. They have take-home meals. You can get blankets. I've got a list here, blankets, clothes, and things where you can get those, gloves, socks. What is it? John Terry was telling, who's the pastor at one of the churches, was telling us how they have a baby section where people come and they get milk, feeding things. They can get strollers, all sorts of equipment that they need. It's a matter of, a lot of the people don't know where these services are. So by coordinating that, I think that would be helpful. And since it doesn't look like we have a facility we can use, if we can coordinate the facilities that actually do have it. What was it? State Representative Steve Soros was saying that at Christmas, they have all this leftover clothes,
toys and
items,
clothes,
toys, and all this stuff that just has to be stored till the following year. So what we need to do, and also there's food in food places, and that just kind of gets donated. If we have that information out there, this is where you can go and get these. Oh, your family's very struggling. It's sub-zero out there. Let's get you some clothes, some blankets, some help, and coordinate the services. And that's,
Michelle, you forget one thing. People don't
Yeah.
have money for food. They don't have money for gas. They don't have money for the car. How are they gonna get to those places?
they do deliver at times.
Well,
They
see,
have other people collect.
the PR is very poor.
I know,
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to correct. Get the information out there. And one of the things, that's not the only thing we're doing, but I do think that's partly key to this, to have the information available and to have it coordinated so that we can then coordinate the various groups. So and if they're working from their own premises, the storage, one of the groups was saying they had plenty of storage. I'm trying to, I've got it written down. And I thought, well, if we can store what we have to there and then have access, you know, it's a matter of really bringing the community together. And Betty's right, you have to have a price tag on it, you know, because last thing we want to be saying is this is going to cost the town a fortune and then they have to budget for it. We already know that whenever money comes in, there's a lot of people that have their eyes on that money for various projects. So we
Now,
have to try to,
Cheryl,
yeah,
Cheryl, can I ask you, do
Sure.
you know, because I don't know, do you know the realm of the possible? I mean, do you know what you can ask for? What is within the realm of the possible? What could you bring forward to the town council that's legal and achievable? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know all of our codes well enough. Have you talked to legal staff? I mean, is there something that, I mean, are we spinning our wheels? Is it just, there's just no way in heck there's any, legal way for us to give you any money to do anything relative to human services? I mean, we all know we have this housing component, but what else do we have? I don't know the answer. So how are you going to ask for something? You have to ask for something that's achievable and realistic.
and I
I'm
think
just wondering, do you know?
and I think we have to also give options. You know, this would work this way, that would work that way.
Look, I want to apologize because I'm so passionate about this.
No need to
No, I
apologize.
do, because I'm kind of passionate about this stuff because I come from a country who I know hungry. So people out there, when the hungry strike, especially with the kids, it's hard.
Yeah.
Please forgive me here, but that's why I'm so passionate about this stuff. I don't want to, especially in this country. If you tell me people are hungry in this country, I cannot conceive that.
I respect your passion, Carlos, very much.
Thank you.
Kim, you sounded like you
Yes.
had something to say. Oh,
No, I'm here, I'm listening.
okay. So, anyway, so that's to give thought. Go over the write-ups. This is what's optionable. I'm going to put out some things before our next meeting as some possibilities. I'm waiting to hear back from one person to see if we can tie it up in a different way, which would really advertise it. I don't want to talk about it here because it would give ideas to other people as well, but I think it's workable. There's a couple options, but I don't want to speak before I know.
Is that possible for you to call the other members of this committee to see if they can want to continue to be part of it? Because every meeting is just the four of us or five of us with Cynthia.
I know, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll have a word with the powers that be to see what can be done there. I do sympathize with you, Carlos. I get it. You know, we're a committee, we're trying to do things, and it does seem to be the same. I would like to at least have an option, with no disrespect to the others. I'd like to have an option to bring in those alternate members. I have asked a few times, but if we can have alternate members, then when the regular committee members do not show up, we have the alternates who can come in from people who have expressed an interest to help to get this done. They can,
Well, I
al-
think,
they can always show up.
Madam Chair, if I could
Sure.
just chime in, what I will do for Carlos is I will email those committee members that are lacking in attendance and ask them if they wish to continue.
That'd be great.
Because you have so many people that are willing to submit applications, the appointments committee sometimes is reluctant to add alternates if the regular members they appointed to serve are not serving. There is a avenue to remove those members because of attendance. And then you look at new members who do, have the time, and it's not a detriment to those that can attend. It's just that everybody's lives get so busy. And
I
other
agree. I agree.
and other committees come up and they don't have the time to spend, and then they're spread a little bit thin. But if you give the members an opportunity to say, we've noticed that the last 4 or 5 meetings we've had, you've been unable to attend. wondering if you'd like to continue or if you'd like to resign your position. It's something that we send out all the time from the appointments committee.
Well,
That's
would
great.
you, doesn't the appointments committee usually do that when it comes up for renewal, which would only be another month from now?
Correct, but currently you only have one member that's up for renewal that has
Oh,
not
okay.
gotten back to me yet. But the other members still have another year. And
okay.
with all the work, like you said, that this committee needs to get done, I do not mind emailing those members and asking if they would like to continue.
Okay, with respect though, please. I mean,
Always,
things
always
do,
with
yeah,
respect.
I know. The things do come up, and I know things come up within the family and stuff like that. But it could also be that they're not sure if they have the time anymore. So yes, if you could kind of check with them, that would be helpful. Thank you, Carlos, for suggesting that.
Sure.
And I do respect your passion on this very much.
Well,
It's just we have to do it the right way.
I understand that, but I have to push. Sorry about that, but I gotta push.
That's all right. I can take a little pushing.
Cheryl, can I ask you, I'm not trying to solve the situation right now at all, because I am a liaison, but I'm curious, you said you have a few things that, you don't want to mention exactly right now. But are there other municipal models out there that you've looked at where municipalities are?
There are.
Okay, that's good.
So anyway, that's where it is. So where are we on? We're on Tuesday. By Friday at the very latest, I'm hoping to get it out by tomorrow morning. You'll have the Council of Churches stuff, and then so start putting thinking caps on. By the end of the weekend, I'll have some of my proposals. I can't put the other one in until I hear back. Because it involves entities within the town that I'm hoping will get involved, but they're kind of being asked. So I don't want to put any pressure because they say no, they say no. But anyway, are there any questions?
No, actually, I was gonna mention one more thing. I know the housing thing, the issues is all over the place. But sometimes, especially I've been in this business for a long time, housing, it need sewer system and water system to be worked. When you have the density in one place like Main Street, you don't have the capacity to support that. It's gonna take a long time. Don't expect that you have in the next year or so.
We're not in
Another-
charge of the sewer system.
I'm sorry?
We're not in charge of the sewer system.
We're talking about housing, Cheryl.
Yes, okay. Well,
And
you're-
housing need that. If you don't have that, you cannot have a housing.
But you have to remember where, even though we've identified housing as one of the problematic areas, there are lots like HAC and Housing Assistant, all these entities who are trying, and planning and zoning, who are trying to address housing as well. We don't want to reinvent the wheel or to get in their way, other than to identify it as one of the things, and how can we help through identifying the other things to help with possibly their projects.
But see, my point to you is, if you're gonna talk about housing on a report, everybody else talking about housing out there. I think
Yeah.
you should concentrate more the issues that we have, the social
Yeah.
issues that we have.
I agree.
That's my opinion, so,
Okay, so we're actually agreed. I was misunderstanding you there.
okay.
It's just that it overlaps, because you often find addictions, mental health, and all this stuff. And all it is associated with housing, because of the mental health and the crime and that they lose their housing, and all that stuff. So, but I don't think it's for us to solve the housing issue,
You got it,
other
you
than to
got it.
recognize that it is comorbid with a lot of the other issues,
You got it, you got it.
and to see if there's any way we can help efforts within the town, but without interfering. So, any other questions? No. Okay, so let's go back to this. Is there one for public comment?
No, there is not, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I don't think there's any other matters not reasonably anticipated. We will have the next meeting at the third Tuesday at 5:30 of next month. Cynthia, can we get a meeting before then? For all the people who have come to speak with us to come before us?
You can have a meeting anytime you want, as long as I have 48 hours notice to publish it for the public so that they're aware. It doesn't have to be on a Tuesday. It can be any day of the week, without keeping in mind Thursdays free, because those are usually town council meetings.
Are we able to do it in person, or does it have to be by Zoom?
You can do it in person if you'd like, as long as the selectmen's conference room is available. Just don't have to set up a Zoom link, and we can announce that the meeting would be in person.
How do people feel about that? In person? I just think we might get more done with it being in person, but I'll bow to the general feeling. In person, selectmen's conference room, or on Zoom? What do people prefer?
I'm fine either way, so.
Kim?
I'm fine either way. I think my major concern is it doesn't matter where or how we meet, it's that we actually have an action plan.
Yeah. Town Councilor Lucky, how do you feel about that?
I don't know, I could go either way too. It seems like more people might attend by Zoom,
That's true.
but
I
you
can
know,
go either way. So,
It may be hard to get all of your guests to attend in person if they're
Yeah.
I agree.
away or busy.
I agree. How about a Friday morning? Can we find a time that's available on a Friday? Kim, are you gonna be all right with that?
On a Friday, it would depend on what Friday it is, but I can try.
See,
Carlos?
Friday's all my payroll, so Friday's hard for me. I gotta do payroll for the whole company, so.
Okay. What day is good for you, Carlos?
Yeah, if Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, except for the local comprehensive committees on Thursday, so once a month, so.
Yeah. Well, Thursday we want to stay away from because of the town council.
Does it always have to be, does it have to be on a weekday?
Probably, yes.
Okay,
Because we're taking staff to do the IT and that part of things, so it's not calling them in.
Okay.
Cynthia, could I ask you to put together 3 proposed times on an after work, if possible, like a 5:30 on any day of the week, except for Friday at 5:30. I do know that 2 of our guest speakers had said Friday late morning is better for them, but let's see if we can do an after work. Would you mind doing that for us, please, Cynthia?
Not at all. I'll put some dates together on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and people can chime in.
Okay, if you just want to send them to the committee members and we'll, majority wins.
I will do that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so in that case, would one of the committee members first of all, thank you, Cynthia, for all your help. Town Councilor Luckily, thank you for being so
Yeah.
devoted to us. It's much, much appreciated. Would one of the committee members like to make a motion for adjournment, please?
So move.
I'll motion. Oh, good. I'll second it.
Okay, we do have quorum. So, committee member, Dr. Kimberly Crocker Crowther,
Aye.
committee member Carlos Barbosa.
Aye.
I also say aye. We are adjourned.